Good Saturday morning, everybody. This is Garden Mama, and guess what? We are at the finest place you could be this morning. In fact, if you're not here, I'm wondering why. You know what? Everybody talks farmers markets. Everybody says, come to the farmers market. Well, Tupelo has not only, downtown Tupelo in particular, has not only said, come to the market, because you remember we were at the market when it was down by the train station and we about got knocked off our chairs by the train. Well, now they've built a brand new market, and you're going to see lots of pictures of it today, talk to some of our vendors here, and have the opportunity to be with us right here all morning long on the Garden Mama Show. Now, where in the world are we? Well, we're in Tupelo, of course, and this is 208 North Front Street in downtown Tupelo. This is the Farmers Market at the Depot in downtown Tupelo. Come see us. This is going to be so much fun. Well, guess who else is here? Garden Mama Baby is here. That's my daughter. She, of course, is the chief of all the Garden Mama merchandise as well as everything else that I do. And she's here with some things. We've got some presents for y'all to pick up today. The Rankin County Master Gardeners have sent y'all the gift of some seeds that they have this year. We've also got Garden Mama magnets. Both of those things are free. And then we got a few things to sell, too. Some really cool friendship bracelets. I'm happy to say I've finally made my way into the friendship bracelet world. And also some tote bags that just basically say Garden Mama on them. We'd like for you to come check those out with us. Great interviews coming up today and a really, really good time. You'll hear the noise from the crowd in the background, but there's also a musician. They got a nice stage here at the New Farmers Market in Tupelo. Good morning, Lance. How's it going there?
It looks like Chamber of Commerce weather there. Goodness gracious.
Yeah, we about got the perfect scene here, I'm telling you.
We just got a downpour here in Jackson. It was one of those type of gully washers that the early morning brings, and there it looks exactly the opposite. Beautiful, sunny.
Well, it rained in the night last night, and we have sent it on to you.
Yeah, well, thank you. Yeah, we need more, right? These plants just are not drinking enough. But no, it's...
Yeah, as folks are aware, of course, this is one of those situations where you're there and I'm here, and you're going to tell me when there's texts that I need to answer, and if you folks want to talk with me, come on in, and we'll be happy to do that, too. I should have mentioned as well that the Garden Club of Jackson has provided us with some stuff. We sort of celebrated the Native Plant Month last month, but you can't really celebrate native plants enough. So we've got native plants for your garden, and also a really cool thing about the way to get your own homegrown national park. I know that sounds a little ironic, but it's all about making your garden pollinator friendly, and it's a map about how to do that and information for you. So we got some really good stuff here today. Come on down and visit with me this morning. I do have to say I like the Garden Mama magnets, too.
Well, Claire's on top of all this, huh? She's going to be slinging stuff out all day long? She is. She is commanding the side table and talking to folks and getting things going this morning with us. Saw a couple of good friends already today, I'm happy to say. Some of us are still kind of amazed at this beautiful new place, which is really fun. I like it very, very much. Well, I don't know how to tell you this. All of y'all who are in the world with a box of this and a box of that and a box of this other thing, and you look in the closet and something falls off onto your head, well, you're living my life, because I'm in the downsizing world. Today is Pack Rat Day, and so we can all feel good about this, that we are not alone in our need to clean out a closet or take down, see what's in that bookshelf exactly, all that sort of stuff. So I'm working on that. I have a feeling, Lance, you'd probably be more interested in the fact that it is Cherry Cobbler Day. I would be, wherever, there has to be somebody there that has an amazing cherry cobbler. I mean, the way that
I haven't seen it yet, but I have sure seen some beautiful jams and jellies, some fresh fruits, some beautiful squash, the prettiest carrots I've ever seen, frankly, and I've grown a lot of carrots.
I'm going to get those carrots up for you in just a minute, but wow.
That's from Native Son.
I could just take my knife and just shave those off and eat them right out of the dirt.
I'm serious. Native Son really does know what they're doing, and if you've ever tried to grow carrots, you want to see these, because none of ours look this good. I love that.
Hey, and the pictures you got of the facility, I'll have those rotating through here in a bit as well.
Thank you.
But man, what a beautiful place. The woodwork,
isn't it beautiful?
The metal,
we have a cathedral tower type center and a lit stage and beautiful facilities. Everything's, of course, undercover. And at the same time, because it's open air, we have all the nice breezes as well as all the nice noises and friends and family around here. So that's really very terrific. I think they did a beautiful job designing it. And certainly, I love a good, solid brick facility myself, and it is beautiful. They have done a wonderful, wonderful job. I had an interesting question this week from somebody about inheriting a collection of planters that don't have holes in the bottom, and she said that her friend grew air plants, that, in other words, bromeliads that you don't really water very much, and so they did just great in those, but she doesn't grow those. What can she do with these containers? Here's the thing. That's one of the reasons we grow those little tillandsias. They look kind of like sphagnum moss. I mean, they look kind of like Spanish moss, rather, and they have a very loose form to them, but you can put them in a bookshelf in a tiny little dish because you're only going to spray them with water every once in a while. Y'all know that I have them in one of Bill's beautiful glass fixtures that hangs in the window and has all of that going on. You just literally spray them. They grow in no dirt at all. And so it's a real fun place to be and have that really good opportunity to take a look at those things. But if you don't grow air plants, what do you do with those pots? And quite frankly, you enjoy them. They're pretty, but you got to put something else inside of them if you can't drill a hole in the bottom to grow conventionally. A lot of people will use them almost like a saucer. They'll put the plant inside this pretty cloche pot, and then the next thing you know, you've got too much water sitting underneath that plant. So be careful about that. But they can certainly be used as the outside plant to be pretty, and also so that you don't get your furniture wet with a plant that might drip a little bit of water out the bottom. I thought that there are also some interesting questions in that world about the fern that won't it keeps turning brown and won't get better. And I'm always fascinated by that because ferns are notorious. Now, I realize that we got macho ferns and we got some that can take a lot more sun. But if you're growing the classic Boston fern and it's getting more than a couple of hours of sun on your porch, you really need that filtered light. And so you may want to change where you're growing it, but you also want to make sure that you're giving yourself the opportunity to dunk it in a bucket every so often, maybe even every week in the summertime because it gets so hot. You can literally get a 5-gallon bucket, put that container in there, sit the whole thing sit there for maybe 30 or 40 minutes and soak up lots and lots of water, even fertilizer, and then you can hang it back up, and the next thing you know, it's looking better than it did before. It's a good way to keep the ferns going and at the same time give yourself something a little bit different to look at rather than those browned edges. Now, for folks who are still picking up ferns off the side of the road that other people have discarded, yes, you can indeed cut them off almost entirely to their tiny little nubs, fertilize them, soak them, and then you will end up having another bit of new growth if it can possibly happen. So that's a couple of the questions that came to me this week. We are looking at some good pictures as you get going this morning. We talked about the carrots from Native Sun, but I got to tell you, coming up here at 8:30, I'll be talking to one of my dear friends in this part of the world. We're going to talk a little bit about honey. There's a few different honey dealers here, honey growers and honey producers, but we're going to be talking to our friend Fred from Velma's Valley. He's got a swarm in a box that you can look in and see. This family has been doing bees so long that he actually has a blue dot on the queen so that you can see how he has captured them and got them into this glass-sided enclosure. They are so busy. He said he put them in there in April when they swarmed out and he was able to recapture them. But they are just full now. It's really pretty. It's a wonderful process. It's one of the most intriguing of the natural processes is bees and their honey. So we're going to talk to Fred in just a little while. We're going to talk to the mayor this morning. We're going to talk to several people here in Tupelo just to keep you up to date on what's going on both at the farmers market and in this very cool town. I will probably forget to do this later on, so I really want to have an opportunity to thank SuperTalk up here with our friend Kim Dill, who was so sweet to do this for me, and of course Jessica Clayton from downtown Tupelo. Got to thank Gary, got to thank Lance, got to thank Houston. Everybody's been put to work this morning to get this show going, so I really appreciate that. I've had several people come by, let me know that they listen to the show and have the opportunity to come to this market, and we're all very enthusiastic, very excited about it.
It's been kind of the market tour, between you and Peaches. There has been
we're trying to see
get
everything.
around to. I love it, though. I mean, Peaches and I were laughing about that the other day, about how much there is to do at this time of year. Everything just kind of, volcanoes up right now, where you've got all the
And if we don't catch it now, if you come back in July, there'll be beautiful tomatoes, there'll be wonderful food, there'll still be busy farmers, but the enthusiasm does get tempered by the heat, I will say.
Yeah, my enthusiasm has been tempered a little bit by the heat.
Everybody's is, and so that's why this really and truly, May and June are the biggest months. We were talking about, when do your tomatoes get ripe? There are cherry tomatoes here, but of course it's a little bit longer up here before they'll be having full-size slicer tomatoes. But they've got cucumbers and squash and the most beautiful green beans you're going to see. I mean, everything that comes in right before the tomatoes is here today. Strawberries, too, by the way. Everything local. There goes an LSU Tiger. That's good. We'll have a little bit of that up here today,
that's
too.
Your team.
So that's fun.
Got to give them a high five. Gonna go Tigers with the EAUX on it.
As you might imagine, one of my dear friends from Ole Miss is here, and we've already had a good chat today about what's going on with him. And people are stopping by and showing me what they bought. God, that's a beautiful dog. The kids are almost as cute as the dogs at this market, let me tell you. Some beautiful things. Out. There's some beautiful things going on. Some of the kids even have dogs. And the T-shirt collection, oh my goodness. We got everything up here. I should probably let you know that we're happy to be here, as well as anytime we get a chance to come to Tupelo, because there's so much fun stuff to look at. And I don't know anywhere else you're going to drive by the little shop that says New Elvis Merchandise.
Right, yes.
But it's right here.
And that's New Elvis merchandise. Yeah.
It's New Elvis. And so we've had a lot of fun looking at all of that. It's a blast. Another piece of the puzzle here at the market, of course, are the edibles. There's cinnamon rolls. There's baked goods, everything from breads to cupcakes to every other sort of just delicious-looking stuff you might want to have either for breakfast or take home for a party. They literally do it right, and everything up here is, of course, fresh, just brought in this morning from the vendors as well as from the farmers, and the whole place is full. It's one of the best things that you can say when a farmer's market is full and there's vendors on the waiting list. It's really a delight.
While you're there, you're going to have
to do that.
You're going to have to find the most unique but delicious item of the edibles, and then you're going to have to report back to me. Is it going to be like... Oh, my
goodness. Okay, now you've given me an assignment.
I want to hear you go, okay, we found this rhubarb whatever, and it was the most amazing thing, or something.
I will read some labels when I have the chance at the break and find something that is... let's just say different, something that is different. I see that you have got up the photo I took last night before the rain.
Such a beauty.
The Queen Anne's lace has just gone crazy, and the sunset was so beautiful. I had to stand up and take it. Oh, there come the carrots. If y'all are at SuperTalk.tv, trust me, you're gonna want these carrots. And I took a picture as soon as they got them on the stand because I know they'll be gone.
I mean, how pretty is just the setup? I mean, that makes you want to buy the whole bushel.
It really is. Their Native Son knows just what they're doing. They also have a farm store here. We'll talk about that when we talk to Will in the next hour. Get a chance to see what else is going on.
Well, we had a couple, Zach in Oxford. Good show. Wish y'all could be there and get some of that honey. And also from the 662, asked Guard Mama to go play some bingo while she's there. And she has a pair of twins working Ronnie in August. So, And,
oh, my goodness. Wouldn't that be fun?
And then Garden Mama, we did get a couple of images in of some beautiful flowers that I will put up. And we've got a look who's blooming this morning. And it looks like
fun.
Yeah. I mean, that's some big tulips, I think. So.
Well, I will check you and tell you if they are. Mm-hmm. We saw some pretty tulips yesterday. I'm always tickled when I get, because tulips don't last a long time when they bloom, but they're beautiful and just knock your lights out when they are. And so we had to stop the car and look at them because it was so pretty.
I bought some little daffodils the other day, some bulb daffodils that were already growing for Mom and the Mother's Day. Got her the tulips, first, but also got a potted plant that will last and she can love like she's loved me all these many years. So is there a trick to taking care of like a daffodil in a pot that is, a bulb plant? It's probably about a foot tall with some pretty yellows in there. What do I need to do with that?
When it gets finished blooming, you can cut the flowers and put them in a vase, or you can let them, dry up on the plant. You can plant that in the yard. It'll bloom every year, and she'll think of you.
That's what I want to hear. Thank you. That's the best.
It'll be lovely. See, now there's another LSU shirt. They must have known I was coming today.
They did, yes. I set out the email.
My friend Willie's here. We were all Ole Miss on the other end. We're an open-minded bunch of fans in this particular world. Which is kind of cool.
You got to root for everybody.
Yes, sir. I do. Especially
until they play your team.
Well, there are afternoons, Oh, a lot of people are enjoying the movie that Claire put up about she's got all of my stuff over there. Let me tell you again before we slip out of here. We have some things that are free. We've got information about native plants and about making your own national park in your own backyard for the native plants. And we've also got Garden Mama magnets. We've got seeds that are a gift from the Rankin County Master Gardeners. And then, of course, we've also got some Garden Mama merchandise that we'd love for you to buy from us today. A few little friendship bracelets, a bunch of friendship bracelets and some tote bags that we're very proud of. So come and see us. We got a lot going on here in Tupelo. We are at the Farmers Market at the Depot in downtown Tupelo. We're going to talk about honeybees and one thing and another. I feel like there's just so much going on all at one time. I'm sure the music will start up again in a few minutes.
Oh yeah, you probably will have a party going on there.
It's a party. Can
you hear your out music as loud as it is?
No.
Okay, because we got about 30 seconds. I'll let you know when we get it.
Well, thank you, sir. Yes. I will tell you that we are in Tupelo, and we will be right back. This morning from Tupelo, the Farmers Market at the Depot. Look, y'all, right here in the camera and right here in my hand, this is the best honey you're going to find. And I know this because I've had this honey for many years now. Velma's Valley Honeybee Farm is here. Fred is here. Fred, good morning. Thank you for coming by to see me. Let me see if I got to turn that up a little bit more. There we go.
Thank you, Garden Mama.
He's a soft-spoken man. He's not like me.
I appreciate you inviting me down here to talk about these bees.
You know what? I'm so happy I was telling folks as I was introducing this segment before that you capture them. You not only grow them, but you also, when they try to get away, you bring them back. And that's what's in your display here today. Now, tell me about how do you get a blue dot on the queen bee, first of all, because you got to recognize who she is. But y'all have been doing this so long, I'm sure that it's just second nature to you.
Yeah, you first you got to find the queen, and after you find her, you just get a hold of her. Her little legs. You have to be real careful not to squeeze her.
Sure.
Get a Sharpie, and this year it's blue.
Yeah, she's real clear. Once she pulls herself out from all the other bees, you can literally see her. That just tickles me that you can watch her make her way through the mess of them.
And when you're manipulating the bees, it's easy to keep up with the queen as a beekeeper. Yeah. Because you've got a lot of things that you're a process that you're trying to do, make splits and things like that. You will always want to know where that queen's at. And if you can't find her, you need to move on to another hive. Come back.
Come back and she'll reveal herself at some point.
Yeah.
I love that. Tell me about Velma's Valley. And I know y'all have been there for, y'all are not new to this. So tell me the story of Velma's Valley.
Okay. Velma's Valley, I've been married 53 years. And
Congratulations.
I married into the Homan family. And my wife's dad, son Homan, he was a beekeeper, and his dad was a beekeeper.
Wow.
And they started out.
And always in Shannon.
That's right. And they started out in the 40s, 1940.
Oh, my goodness.
And so Papa, he's been gone a good while now, since 2005, but he was my mentor. And, they started out in Mayhew Junction with the Stover Prairies. And they were big package bee people.
How interesting.
They sold 3-pound package, a 5-pound package of bees.
For that commercial pollination market. Yeah.
Well, people would come
would get them.
Up north, they came down south because the bees were they were more productive.
I was going to say, like everything else, we're better even early in the season.
Early in the year. And it was easy for them to come down and buy packaged bees rather than try to winter their bees.
I see.
So they had people came from up north in Canada, and it took a lot of people back then to what they call shake bees. And you put them in 3-pound packages, and you actually weighed them, and they would take them back up and start, because their honey production is just astronomical up there, So
I guess the bees know they have less of a year to work with.
Well, they do.
So they get busy.
That's exactly right. But even some of my wife's cousins, they were up in Aberdeen, South Dakota. They would move their bees from here up there because of the honey flow.
Ah, there you go.
And so you had different ones. Her other uncle in Holder Homan, he was a package person, that sold bees and sold queens over here in Shannon in the brewer community. And, it's just, it was a family deal.
Well, and you married into it and you were ready.
That's right.
That's even they're lucky too, but the thing is, when sometimes we hear about those family pressures to do things, but it seems to me like that was your love and you just grabbed it.
Yeah, it's interesting, bees are. It's just it's kind of like, I guess, farming, gardening.
Sure.
You can relate to that. You just see what you have grown. It's the way with these bees. You manipulate them, and you can kind of see.
Well, and y'all process the most beautiful honey.
Yes.
I mean, we've seen a lot of honey, believe me. I've been a bunch of places. But y'all do a honey that is clear and sweet, and it doesn't crystallize in a minute. It'll take a long time to go through the honey, and sometimes you feel like you got to put it back in hot water and do all that. Your process doesn't do that. Your process
it's raw honey. Eventually, it's going to granulate.
Sure, but it takes a long time.
It will. Because if you're a honey eater, it'll be gone before you.
Yeah, and it's good honey too, y'all. Yeah. Well, Velma's Valley. Now, y'all established this particular farm in the 90s.
Yes.
And tell me about that, because that's you and your wife.
Well, what I did was Billy Swedenberg. He's a son-in-law of Stover Prairies. So they were in the bee business down there. They had a package, continue that on. Well, in the 90s, they sprayed ants with airplanes.
Oh, they sure did. I had forgotten about that.
And so that was a big deal down in that area when they did that, and it knocked out a lot of his hives. So it pretty well messed up their beekeeping down there. And I had the opportunity to buy some bees that he had, and lots of equipment that he had, so that's how I got into it.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
It makes so much sense that nobody wants it just because you can't do it here. They want somebody to do something somewhere else. But it didn't kill the ants either, by the way, y'all. Just in case you were wondering, it was not particularly effective.
No.
They tried a lot of things, and we ran into fire ants just yesterday.
If you could get bees to do like fire ants multiply.
Oh my goodness, we'd be on top of the world.
Yeah, everybody would be in beekeeping.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. But yes, that's how I got started, and of course, I'm fixing to be 72, and my wife. I made a bunch of increases this year, and she said, "What are you doing? Like you're supposed to be,
you said
scaling
no.
back,
No.
And, because I had bees at Mayhew and West Point and different locations, but I have moved them back up this way and, downsize things. And I love coming up here to this market. And this year we've got this new facility and everything.
Isn't it beautiful?
It's just unreal.
Well, y'all have worked so hard for so many years to build this market to where it could fill a place like this.
Yeah.
I mean, this group of vendors is just the first. Y'all are top notch.
Yeah.
And to be able to do that for so long makes so much sense. Tell folks how to get in touch with you if they're listening this morning and they're interested.
You can go to Velma's Valley. I've got a Facebook page.
There you go. Go on Facebook.
Yeah, go on Facebook. Check it out. a lot of people come by here on Saturdays. I'll be here every Saturday. And,
that's wonderful.
Through October, and
I love that.
This is just what I kind of do.
Well, I'm going to tell you, you tell your wife that Garden Mama's even older than you, and I'm not slowing down yet either. I am downsizing. I got too much house and too many plants, but we're like you bringing your stuff all back into Shannon. We have to bring everything back in and condense it so we can keep doing it.
Yeah.
When you do what you love, it ain't work anyway.
That's the way I look at it. It's really it's work with bees.
Sure.
It's a lot
busy
of work,
time, a lot to do.
but it's kind of a fun thing too.
It's a delight, and you are the best at it. Thank you so very, very much. Velma's Valley, y'all. Now, if y'all have not met Fred Duran and his family, come to the market or go to Velma's Valley on Facebook, all right? Y'all check it out. You need some honey. Honey's good for you. We're not even going to tell you how good it is for you because you already know that. But I appreciate you being here with me this morning. I'm going to let you get back to your customers.
Okay.
Thank you, Fred.
I appreciate
that. One of the things that we always do around here, you can take all that, you're good now. One of the things that is always true at a farmer's market, thank you, is that there are a variety of things going on. And I'm telling you, some years it's the ball caps, and some years, this year I think it's the T-shirts. We have got the biggest selection of crazy T-shirts in this market. I hope you can, as people walk by, I'm sure you can see them in the in the camera shot. And we have a lot of fun with all of that. I'm going to be talking to Mayor Todd Jordan in a few minutes. I want y'all to have a chance to meet him. There's a lot that goes on in a town that has to have a whole lot of people involved in it. And something like building a magnificent facility like this new farmers market at the depot here in Tupelo. Downtown Tupelo is involved, of course, the Main Street organization that we're all familiar with. And, of course, you have to get the mayor involved. So we're going to talk to him as the morning goes by. Lots of folks to talk to today and lots of things to be interested in. Somebody had asked me, sent me a note and said, what are you talking about, homegrown national parks? This is what I'll hold it up for you so when you get the handout, you will see what it is. But what they're trying to do really is to enable everybody that plants native plants or takes out invasive plants. Hello, Chinese tallow tree. Hello, Japanese privet. Anybody who can take these plants out will allow you to report these accomplishments, and a gauge will show the progress of the goal. We would like to have the organization that is over this is Homegrown National Park Incorporated, would like to have at least 20 million acres of native plants. And I'm pretty sure we're getting close because there are a lot more people that are embracing native plants. Not that we don't love all of them. We like the imports. We like the exotics. But this is really the call to action. When we're talking about getting rid of invasive species, particularly, some folks will say one thing is invasive, but there is an actual category of them, and they are the ones that cannot be removed easily, are persistent, and in my own word for it, pernicious. They are not easy to get rid of. But you can learn more about all that at invasivespeciesinfo.gov. And you're going to hear about tallow trees from me all the time because that's really one of our choking problems. In the southern part of the United States, the Chinese tallow was imported as a beautiful specimen tree. And it is lovely in that it has beautiful fall color. It has very clever popcorn shaped seed pods. But the issue is what next? And every one of those things turns into 20 more trees, which really ultimately clogs up our waterways, reduces the number of native species, and therefore reduces both the habitat and the food sources for the native insects and other critters that are supposed to live here. Some of them can't anymore. So that's why we get rid of those things. And particularly when you can replace them with a native species, you'll find that you've done something really good that will also be beautiful for a long time. This organization would also like you to shrink the lawn and leave the leaves. We've talked about that here a few times because we sometimes get calls from folks that would like to find out how come their homeowners association is not interested in native plants. And sometimes it's because we do want to shrink the size of the lawn and put in more of these plants. So both of those things are important to know a little bit more about. And we've got a nice flyer for you to pick up here from the desk, along with the Garden Mama merch and one thing and another. native plants for your garden, of course, are one of the things that we just love to talk about around here because we have so many beautiful native plants. I don't think that there's not any problem with fancy plants or exotics or however you want to call them, but we just need to have a good balance of both things, I think. My daughter, Garden Baby, is here, and she has been saying hello to everybody. We get this all the time. Yes, we do look a lot alike. Today is Plant a Lemon Tree Day, folks, and I want y'all to know that if you hadn't planted one, I'm here to tell you about it. You need to understand that it is not going to be, well, it's not going to be the easiest one you've ever grown, but mine is beautiful right now, and it grows in a container year-round. If you are south of Hattiesburg, of course, you can grow lemon trees and satsumas in the ground as an orchard crop, but in the rest of our listening area, and of course farther north, we grow them as a big old container plant. Sometimes decorate them with Christmas lights because they get really big, and if you're having to bring it indoors for the winter, that may be a good use for it. Lance, I wanted to ask you a question. Did you eat honey?
I love honey. Are you kidding me?
Do you eat honey? I have to tell you, this is actually the best honey. Fred Duran's honey at Velma's
Well, my buddy Zach over in Oxford is like, man, I just hate I can't get over there and get the honey, learn about the bees. He's like me. I love it.
It's a beautiful display. It's a beautiful display.
And the way you described it, too. I mean, you didn't undersell his honey. So, yeah, you really have my belly rolling right now, wishing I had that for my coffee this morning.
See, I keep seeing people walk by. I told you those carrots wouldn't last long. People walk by, and the carrots are also the tops are like 2 feet long. Goodness. They're standing up out of the bag. People got to wear them.
I feel like Bugs Bunny right now. I'd just be over here munching. I'm
serious. There's a few people that would like to be doing that. I have a feeling some folks already are. No doubt about it. I'm just looking at the TV shot. This is really beautiful. Look at all these nice people.
Yeah, and you're getting a little bit of the shade is starting to help you a little bit too, so we can see Garden Mama.
The clouds have piled up a little bit, and I'm not quite as bleached out.
Yeah, you look like an angel there. I thought you were transparent for a minute.
As it is.
Well, we got music.
Well, listen, we're going to step away. We're going to talk to the mayor here from Tupelo in just a couple of minutes. So stick around, folks. We'll be right back. Thank you for joining us here on the Garden Mama Show today. My guest now, I'm happy to tell you, I don't hardly ever get to meet dignitaries quite like this, although I think farmers are probably my dignitaries. But the mayor of Tupelo is here with me. Mr. Jordan, thank you for coming. I'm sorry.
I'm glad to be here, and it's an honor to be on your show. I'm just going to tell you, I've listened for many, many years. Now, I don't claim to know half of what you're saying, but you're very informative, and if I ever come across, anything you said, I do remember it. So it's an honor to be here with you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I really love talking to you. I love people that grow up someplace, go off, do stuff, come learn about the world, and come back. And you've made some big differences here. Today's got to be a really large, happy round of applause, for the whole team.
It is.
This is a big project.
And when you look at how many people are here this morning. I mean, this is why you build it. Mm-hmm. I mean, we had an old parking lot here. Someone came to me in my administration and said, hey, I think we need to do something like an open-air venue. We can have different events. And, the first thing that came to mind was the farmers market,
Absolutely.
Vendors. And when you look at this morning, I mean, no one has gone by this building and said, I don't like the way that building looks.
No, the compliments are just rolling in this morning.
It's the first thing you see when you come downtown Tupelo, and it's a great addition to our area.
This being the first market, I know a lot of people come for that, but they're going to come back.
That's right.
Because there's so much going on in here.
And the good thing is people that are just now learning about it that may not be from here, may make a trip from other places.
It's a great day.
And then they'll see what we offer here in Tupelo. And they may stay a little longer.
Get around and see a few things.
That's right. Maybe shop a little bit, maybe eat a little bit before they go back. So this will be a great economic impact for our downtown area.
Well, I can see all sorts of things happening in this space, too. I mean,
and we wanted, music, and we've got music this morning. And that's something we'll have every week. It just gives us another opportunity to host things there in downtown.
Well, and Tupelo is known for just taking everything up to the next level, and y'all do that on so many things.
Well, we try to be the standard, and if you're going to do something, do it right. And if you're going to have something nice, you have to pay for it. And things cost a lot these days, but once you do it and you get the appreciation you have this morning, that's what it's worth.
And when you make that investment and you can see it literally in the citizens, that's just a wonderful thing. I have to tell y'all this, Mayor Jordan, Todd Jordan, everybody knows Todd Jordan because you grew up here, and then you went from here and you did everything in the world, and you came back around. You've been here for a number of years, but y'all, they elected him mayor in June of 2021, and he's only about a minute old. I mean, he's going to be here a while.
Yeah, fortunately, I won the re-election, so I'm going to be here at least 4 more years.
Love that.
I'm not.
People talk about you and they say nice things, by the way. So.
Well, good. I appreciate that.
Well, sometimes we try to put people in a box, and I don't think anybody can do that to you. You've got too much different experiences, too much knowledge of your community, and too many good ideas.
Well, and I've got a good team around me, and we listen to the public. I mean, we listen to, we look on Facebook, people say we need this or we need this, so we try to put that in motion. And when people start talking about different things, and there's just so many things that we can do, but it's the necessities that we really
and when people are that interested in their community enough to talk to you about it, it tells you something too.
That's right.
They're invested, and that's really very important. That's how we always hear so often about downtown areas, particularly not being what they used to be, quote unquote. I hear that from people my age all the time. Well, guess what? They're better, in many cases, and in this case, they are absolutely. This is the best thing that ever happened to this part of Tupelo.
That's right, and as everybody knows, downtown areas go through mostly a down period at some point in their lifetime, and Tupelo did. Our downtown area, as you see it, is only about 25 or 30 years old in the revitalization. It just keeps getting better. And I worked for Tommy Morgan Real Estate for 15 years, and when I went to work for him, he had built a building down here downtown, and the Barnes Crossing area was really hopping. And I said, Tommy, I'm a little surprised that you built downtown. Why didn't you build Barnes Crossing? There's a lot more exposure. He said, well, because in 50 years, downtown Tupelo is still going to be downtown Tupelo. We don't know what any other place around the city is.
That is so true.
And, you look at that was 20 years ago, and things are just getting better.
That kind of vision is what it takes. Those of us who just kind of, get up every day and go to work and try and figure out what we're going to do and how we're going to do it, have to look towards folks that have a little bit more vision. And I'm happy to say, so what's next? What y'all going to have? I mean, will this be one of the parts of the Elvis thing? Is this all going to be happening
here? It will.
Here?
And of course, this being new, we're going to incorporate it some, and we'll kind of always looking to do things better and how this year flows. But I think this is going to be a venue that we can have our Down on Main concerts, and
I love it.
We can block off the front street here instead of blocking off Main Street. That's a main corridor.
Oh, that's smart.
So the people get a little upset when they have to divert traffic around Main Street. So they'll give us an opportunity to get on one of our side streets and do a lot more.
I love that. That is just so smart. Y'all, Tupelo is such a great place. And, one of the things that happens in a town is that we have to hope that, as folks my age will say, that the next generation comes along and stands up. I can tell you from being here today in Tupelo and seeing this beautiful facility and getting to meet the mayor that y'all are absolutely doing all of that.
Well,
Lance, give me a cue when you can, okay?
One thing you want to do is try to bring young people back to Tupelo. Now, just like myself and other young kids, go out and see the world. But we want to make it as inviting for you to come back and raise your family as we can.
That's the philosophy. That is absolutely the philosophy that we are all hoping to find. My kids, my grandkids all needed that. All need that kind of environment. Well, tell me about your growing. What do you garden? What do you?
All right, so I got a question.
Yeah.
So I love figs. Okay.
Yeah.
So I got a couple of fig trees. Planted one probably 4 years ago, and it's kind of gone through a cycle. It hadn't grown a lot. Looks like this year it's doing a little better. I don't know if some of the freezes have kind of put it back a little bit, and I don't know at what certain height or age where that doesn't affect it. Now, it's kind of at the bottom of the hill and in the back. I don't know if it's getting too much water from the water runoff. I know they don't need a lot of water. but it's just not growing like I want it to grow.
As long as the water can flow through it, figs can take that. I do like to see you mulch the area around the base of them in a large space because their roots are shallow.
Okay.
And that helps them to be able to spread out more. The only other thing, really, 5 or 6 years for a fig is good, but they really don't get into full tilt production until they're 7 or 8 years old.
Okay.
So that might be helpful down. What do you feed it with?
Water.
Here's the question.
Water.
You will think I'm a genius because one bag of organic fertilizer made for fruit trees or for trees even is going to make all the difference in the world.
Okay.
You can feed it now. I wouldn't feed it again this year, but I'd feed it next year after you prune in January.
Okay.
And do it again.
So then I got one that's in a pretty good sized pot that I never planted. Do I just need to put it in a bigger pot this year? Is it too late to plant?
You got a choice. You can do either one.
Okay.
As long as you keep attention to the water, you'll be fine with it in the ground.
Okay.
But you got to give it both. Got to give it a little more attention than if it's just in the container.
Okay. That's
I
what
love
I need
that.
to know.
Do you know what variety they are?
I do not.
Okay. Well, we'll see them next year, so we'll get a chance to see what they look like, and I'll tell you the name of the variety. How much fun. You know, Lance, we're really lucky sometimes. We get to talk to people and have a chance to spend some time with them.
Too. This guy was some kind of football player. Now, we have 45 seconds left, and I didn't want to throw that on him right at the end here, but, he was something else. Now, this guy is a player.
I knew you were going to tell me more than I know about him.
We got 30
Well,
seconds.
people forget a lot on how not very good you were. So, the legends grow a little bit, Lance. I appreciate that and appreciate what you do because I listen to you guys all the time.
Well, you're doing a phenomenal job in Tupelo.
Well, I appreciate it, Lance.
Thank you so much.
Always glad
got
you
about
guys
10
get
seconds.
up here.
Well, we love being in Tupelo, and it's real funny. We were talking the last time I was here. I was writing a story, and I went and took pictures of all the guitars for Elvis, and I told my daughter she hadn't seen them before. I said, well, we're going to turn down the street, and they'll all be there. And we did that last night. And we got to drive along and look. I know you want to hear a little bit of the music before it actually turns into me and all this wonderful, wonderful crowd noise. Welcome in. This is the Garden Mama Show. We are live in downtown Tupelo from the farmers market at the depot. My goodness, it's wall-to-wall people and plants and food and, good grief, dogs and kids and holy moly, there's so much going on, y'all. You got to come up here. If you're not here today, put it on your calendar. Tupelo is always a fun place to come and visit if you don't happen to live here. But if you haven't ever been, give yourself a couple of days. There's a lot to see and a lot to do. You're going to want to hang around for a while.
Well, once you get all the good-for-you stuff and you eat well and you need a good dessert.
Yes, sir.
You can run over to Connie's and get one of those blueberry donuts that are the most amazing things ever. So
and there's Native Son's shop too that's in town, and so many cool things, so many very cool things. Y'all, this is one of the times of year when we think about everybody's outside, and this is when we really have to think about fire ants and mosquitoes and the other problems that we have. Now, first of all, yes, when you tell your kids that they need to come inside and put on insect repellent, you are correct. When you tell them that they need to put on sunscreen, you are correct. All of these things are absolutely true. But even beyond that, it's still true that the sun is the harshest and the brightest and can do the most damage to you and your skin and your plants, for that matter, in the later part of the afternoon. If I had my choice, I would build a house every time that had a protected side on that west end or south end, whichever one it faced, because we don't need that for much, and it really does help to protect us from it because it keeps us alive longer and our plants too, I truly believe. But when it comes to mosquitoes, just put your repellent on. We really don't need to have anybody get sick this year, and it always happens. It's the person that never thought they would get bit, and even if they got bit, they'd been bit 100 times, and it was never a problem. But West Nile virus is a problem that continues with our world, and I really hope that you all will avoid it this year. I have a couple of other timely tips like that I'll bring you during the morning today, because it's those things that we don't think about. Everybody wonders why they get sunburned and why they, have trouble later on. Well, it's because you didn't think about it in the first place. So let me help you think ahead occasionally. Something I saw this morning when I was walking through the market, there were so many jams and jellies, and it brings me back, Lance, to that desire to have the jelly contest, the biscuit, best biscuit, I think we should start now and plan that for next year here in Tupelo.
Well, it seems like with the busyness we have there, we'd probably have a lot of great input on what the best jelly and biscuit.
Lots of good input. There's more than one biscuit baker up here, I'm telling you, and all of these jellies are beautiful. The quality of the work is one of the things that I've always been impressed with the vendors at the Tupelo market, because they are the best. And having grown up with people that did this kind of processing, whether it's pickles or jellies or jams, it's not easy, and it's something you actually have to pay attention to. So this is where we are today. This is the first time this market has been open, and I am so honored to be here. Our friends at SuperTalk, of course, brought me here, but so did the folks at Main Street in downtown Tupelo. We talked last hour to our friends from Velma's Valley at the honey farm. Well, it is a honey farm. Anyway, honey bee farm. And also to the mayor. Mayor Jordan was just so sweet, and he's here. I'm going to tell you all this. He has on the same clothes you have on. He has shorts and a T-shirt because it's that kind of a morning here in Tupelo. And he has helped us get settled and get into what's going on up here. In this hour, we're going to talk with someone from Native Son. I believe it'll be Will Reed that we'll talk to from there. And then we're going to talk to the executive director of Main Street, Lucia Randall. That's a big job. It's one you have to make priorities, and you also have to please an awful lot of people. So I look forward to having a chance to thank her for bringing me here, too. Tupelo is one of the all-America cities at 5 different times, and it's hard to do better than that, but I'm telling you, this new market, they are already doing better. Hello, puppy. What a beautiful puppy. Hey, sweet baby. Hello, gorgeous. How you doing? Oh, my goodness. They're so sweet. Beautiful. We can interview the dog, but I don't know if she wants to say anything. She may not want to talk to me. Anyway, she had to come see what was going on over here. Beautiful thing. Well, I tried to find you a cherry cobbler, but I didn't find that yet. I'm looking, though. I will see if I can do that.
I'll go with any cobbler. Any cobbler's fine.
Anyone is fine, right?
That's right. I was laughing. You were talking about the mosquitoes and the ants, but is there a more industrious insect in the world than an ant? I mean, they have this huge mound, and then a gully washer like today comes, washes it out. 10 minutes later, they've got it rebuilt, and then another gully washer comes, washes it out, and they're rebuilding it again. I mean, ants, they are something else.
If it stays wet for any length of time, they'll build 2, one on either side of where they used to be.
And it's almost like an anthill
just for security.
I mean, you've got
it's crazy.
Great crowd.
They'll form. Fire ants are the only ones that form the balls that float in the water to escape, and they are. It's impressive. I have actually seen it once in my life and could barely, keep my head on straight looking at that, but it's an impressive sight. One of the things that Mr. Duran was saying from the bee farm is that if we could just get the bees to be that busy, we would have way more honey, but they're about up there with them. We still don't say busy as a fire ant, do we?
We don't, but that's what I was kind of saying. It's amazing how quickly they work, and they don't get deterred either. I mean,
oh no,
they just get back to work.
Well, and as he was telling us, when they used to try to drop all that Mirex and kill ants, it didn't work on the ants, but it did a terrible thing to the bees. And that's, of course, what we hear. It's not from that particular set of chemicals, but around the countryside, everywhere that there are bee colony losses, the attempt is to figure out which pesticides were used so that if they're connected, they can be eliminated from that environment. And really, that's what, when we're talking about all of the different ways to improve and, come in with the native plants, get rid of the invasives, all the things that I talk about all the time here, we really are every minute trying to make it just a better environment for everything and everybody. Because when the plants and the animals are better off, so are the people. There's no question about that. You know, this collection of T-shirts that is here today is just fascinating. I wish that I was just standing on the side and could rattle them all off to you. But I don't think that there is any place I've ever been, Lance, that there are not more versions of Ole Miss T-shirts. We've got Hottie Toddies, we've got we've got the Colonel, we got everything. We got a mayor on one of them over here.
Yeah, we got our Ole Miss folks are out, and you got a mayor that is a Mississippi State star football player. I mean, it's a great town. Yeah, it really is.
It's a wonderful town. There's a place for everybody here in Tupelo, and that's really fun.
And it's amazing how much farmland is really around Tupelo, that which is still being farmed. You're kind of in a foothill plain. It's this perfect little ecosystem up there that's kind of tucked away. And man, I'll tell you what, you can grow some good stuff around Tupelo.
It's a beautiful market. The squash, I'm always telling y'all I can't grow squash because I can't. Used to grow squash. This guy's squash is much prettier than mine, even at its best.
I love squash. Just, a little pepper. And a little squash.
It really
is so
doesn't
watery
take much to get it to be right.
What is it about squash? I mean, I don't know if I can really describe the flavor. Can you? I mean, like, what is it? It's kind of got that yellow, in the water. I mean, it's hard. It's like sunshine.
The biggest difference, I think, between yellow skin squashes and green skin squashes, now we're talking about things with white interiors, is that they have a different texture as well as a different ability to take on other flavors.
Okay.
Yellow squash tends to be a lighter taste, whereas you can put things like Parmesan cheese with zucchini and still taste the zucchini. If you do that, if you make a squash casserole where you can't taste the squash, I call that the Atlanta squash casserole. It tastes like breadcrumbs. It's delicious, but it could be anything. And it doesn't have a very strong flavor, so it takes up everything you put around it. The zucchinis and those kind tend to be a little bit stronger, which is the ones that people don't actually think they like because they haven't explored enough. But, we also, as it gets into the warmer weather, we have even bigger and fancier squashes sometimes, and some of those have a lot of flavor to them. The delicatas are almost sweet, especially when you grill slices of them. It's just another thing.
Is there a trick to, in our climate and our zones and growing squash, they seem that it would be, they're so watery. And is there a trick, though, to getting a full, delicious squash versus kind of, the spinally not growing very well without using a lot of fertilizers and stuff?
Just a little bit of fertilizer on a consistent basis because we're trying to grow big, healthy leaves that then can make some squash. But you also have to remember that we've got an awful lot. The biggest threat to them is the squash vine borer, and that's the one where you don't even know you've got a problem. But right at the point where this big, beautiful squash plant should be making squash, or even after it has started to produce, the whole vine collapses.
Gotcha.
And at that point, there's not a great deal you can do about it. Sometimes you can cut the section out where the critter has burrowed into the stems, and give yourself another shot at the squash. But usually that's the end of the season on that particular plant.
Well, we have a text from Jackie and Brandon that wanted to know, do you have an example off the top of your head of a good organic fertilizer that would work in, this area around central Mississippi?
I really like Dr. Earth products, and there are several different formulations, but you can find those at most of the large garden centers. There's also a Miracle Grow organic fertilizer that I like a lot, and it's harder to find. Sometimes it's in the big box stores, and sometimes it's not. But Dr. Earth products are good products. What's listed on the bag is what is actually in the product, and that's really the biggest deal. Some people will try to use just compost, and I always say, we got old soil here, so you put that extra nitrogen in there, you may end up with all leaves and no tomatoes.
Right, I've had
all
that
leaves
issue.
and no squash, and we don't like that.
That's
so
a pretty
we want to make
plant,
sure
it's just
we
not
get
what you
something
want.
that is balanced.
So again, it's similar to the tomato. You don't want to create all the heavy leaves and not get the plant, to produce the fruit.
You want to get just enough leaves. Even a pineapple has to have a certain number of leaves before it can make a pineapple.
Really? Okay.
But it's a much slower process than a tomato. So they all have to have a little bit of food to keep going from the leaves on into their opportunity to make some sort of produce for us. Let me see now. Oh my goodness!
Can you grow melons in that zone in North Mississippi? You can.
Yes, there's some cantaloupes down here, as a matter of fact.
All right.
I saw those. This is the beginning of that season. I think maybe they've already picked their English peas here, because that's another thing they grow a lot of up here. And they're like turnip greens and those kind of things. The earlier spring things have already come and gone. So that's why we're into the mid-spring now. If you were at a farmer's market in, say, in Ocean Springs, you'd be seeing tomatoes and maybe even some peppers.
So that would be, from that range from North Mississippi all the way down to south, you're going to be seeing more.
We just have enough to, Mississippi's a big state.
Yeah,
and
it's tall.
Most states will have a couple of different growing zones. We got 3, and sometimes 3.5. So
Mississippi's tall. It's not very wide, but it is nice and tall.
It's a very tall place, and so the closer we get from here, going Tupelo, going on up, to Columbus and on farther north, everything's rolling in. But it's rolling in about a week later than it does in central Mississippi or in South Mississippi.
Well, if you keep going north, you're going to run into slug burger territory. And they're really good, Nellie. They're really good.
No, they're not.
No, they taste amazing. Yeah, I love them. And I'll give a shout out to one of my favorite places that I ever had a slug burger was Latham's in New Albany. It is just a throwback, type of store.
Yeah. I know from Latham's.
Oh, man. Yeah. So I spent about 20 years of my life in that neck of the woods up there. Worked in and out of Tupelo for a while. Absolutely loved the city. It was more difficult to get in and out of Tupelo back then, but the roads and everything have really, expanded. The downtown is, just amazing. And when you have leadership like Todd Jordan, you can see why things are going so well for Tupelo, Mississippi.
Well, yeah. Let's face it, it's not that easy to get reelected in this world.
No.
So he's doing something right. I think there's also a good case to be made for the size that the city is and the fact that it can still grow. There's no limit in Tupelo. We were watching some land clearing things working this morning up there at Barnes Crossing, and it's a bigger area than it was than I remember from a few years ago, and now it's spreading out even farther because there's so much to do. But downtown is just completely different, and I love that.
Well, living in Oxford, for so long, you would have to drive to Memphis for the longest time to really get some type of exposure to bigger brands. Now you just go over to Tupelo. And Oxford has a good bit too, but you have that kind of synergy that works between Oxford and Tupelo, and then Corinth and Boonville are beautiful places. I love going up to Corinth. It's kind of a haul. It's tucked away up there in the hills, but it's a beautiful city.
It's a lovely place.
It is. It's a lovely place. I wish I were able to get out with you. It's been years since I've been to right where you're at, and I absolutely love that neck of the woods. So great food, great people.
Well, I'm glad we can bring you there at least.
Hey, I can see it.
A couple of hours, you can see us, wave again. Hello.
I'm waving at you. I'm waving.
So funny. I had somebody ask me this week, I will talk about it if I can before we get out of here today, about looking at plants that are a little bit different, things that, what else can you put on the porch, besides the ferns. We're going to talk about that. I had some questions about hostas and snails, so we might get to that this morning. The problem is, yes, the snails really like the hostas.
Hey, one thing, circling back to Jackie from Brandon regarding the Dr. Earth and Miracle Grow products, is that what you could use on fruit trees as far as you can? Okay, good.
Sure. The one that I've seen, I think there might be 2 different formulations of the Miracle Grow, but there are 5 or 6 formulations of Dr. Earth, and they have different additional elements in them that will let you feed vegetables and flowers and fruit trees and even, the lawn, I think. So they have a little of everything.
But you almost got jumped there. We had a sprinter coming by, I think. But yeah, we're going into break here in 30 seconds. Give you a heads up.
Thank you. Well, I'm happy to tell you that my garden baby, my daughter, has been here. She's the one who named me Garden Mama, in case y'all don't know that. I've told the story a couple of times that everybody's garden needs a mama, is what she said. Of course, it was a long time ago, and she was kind enough to do that and stick with me on it. So she's doing the merchandise and taking care of all my stuff here today, making sure we're ready. The Tupelo Farmers Market. See now, you say one thing, That's always the problem on radio because we're live. We have a different guest. We got a really cool guest. This is really fun. Thomas Horgan is my guest this segment from Organically Grown. This is great. Thank you so much for being here with me this morning. Thomas, I love your shirt. I need that shirt. Talk to me about your place. You're already sold out. That's how come we could get him to come over here. Native Son's stacked up so busy over there. But you've already said you're growing strawberries. And get you up louder.
I get here.
There. Okay, try again.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, but we grow about 1,000 strawberry plants.
Love that.
You plant in October, and then you overwinter them, and then you start picking.
Y'all listen to him. Every time I tell you that you plant strawberries in October, I'm right.
Oh, yeah. So basically, we replant every year. We don't really save them. There's so many diseases in Mississippi. It's almost easier just to start over.
It is easy.
I mean, if you want to go all summer and weed out your strawberries and keep the bugs off of them.
Well, and if you're trying to grow some to propagate, you might take a few, might take like mother plants and start you some. But for the most part, you want to start with clean stock every year because there are so many pests.
And I grow things that I love to eat, and I love to eat strawberries.
Love that.
I love strawberries. So.
Well, Organically Grown is a natural process. In other words, we're not looking at a whole bunch of chemical pesticides on these strawberries either, because they will take up all of it.
I use natural ones like spinosad and trust.
He's singing our song, y'all, spinosad, and of course we talk about
diatomaceous earth really works good.
Absolutely,
it won't kill the fire ants, but it'll move them.
Yeah, but they'll go someplace else. You can run them to the neighbors.
Move them off the plants, and that's probably one of my biggest insecticides I use, diatomaceous earth. I dust my tomato plants with it yesterday.
Well, and it makes a big difference because you grow a lot of tomatoes, and of course they have lots of threats. But I don't know about you. I think stink bugs are really the worst because they come on so late in the season. If you can keep them off, and the diatomaceous earth will keep them out of there.
Well, it'll help.
It helps. Everything helps.
Stink bugs are one of the hardest critters to get rid of naturally.
They are, but I have found the diatomaceous earth is the way to go.
It helps, yeah. You get them when they're small, but it's always something, in the garden. So it's a challenge, but.
One of the things about the new market here, of course, is that there are lots and lots of vendors. I don't really think any of y'all have competition from each other because everybody seems to be doing very specific things.
I've gone to the market here for probably about 12, 13, 14 years now, and this is the best crowd I've ever seen.
Isn't it wonderful?
This new market is awesome.
The new market really is terrific, and I'm so happy that they built this. It's for y'all to literally have a place to vend, but also a place just to enjoy the folks that come to see you. Because this is a great crowd.
Definitely. A lot of people here.
Talk to me about when will your tomatoes be coming in? How long do you pick, and how many varieties do you grow?
Well, I probably have 5 or 6 varieties. I got some heirloom, Cherokee Purple, Brandywine. I got some just regular big beef. I got green tomatoes now, about as big as they're getting pretty big. They're nice green ones, but about another month I'll have red tomatoes.
Won't take too much.
I got some cherry tomatoes. I just probably got 2 150-foot rows of tomatoes.
See, that's a lot. That's
for one person. When I started this, I thought the kids were all going to help, but they don't want to do this. They're doing their own thing, but.
My son raised all of his money for his gasoline in high school by mowing my yard, and it took him another 20 years before he was willing even to have a yard to mow. So I know what you're talking about.
I didn't grow up, I know some people around here, they were forced to garden when they were young, so they don't really want to do it. Well, I didn't, so I always thought it was cool. I read Mother Earth magazine when I was a kid.
Sure.
So I just like growing stuff. I really do.
Well, my grandfather worked nights for the railroad and gardened in the daytime, and so they shoved me out to him a whole lot because I was the troublemaker, and he was more than happy to get me to do stuff, and I learned a lot, but it is the case where not everybody wants to do that. I was happy to be outside doing something.
That's right.
Well, this is so much fun. You've been at the market for a number of years. Do you go all the way to October? And
I try to.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to grow some pumpkins this year again.
Fun.
I have blueberries, and I have blackberries, and muscadine. So
now that carries you all the way through the summer.
I got about 40 plants blueberry. One time my sister came. She goes, "What do you want me to do when I'm finished picking blueberries?" I said, "Well, if you pick 3 bushes, you'll be doing something."
That's a lot. Yeah.
So we have a lot of blueberries, and I really love those. And muscadines, of course. Everybody loves muscadines.
That's fun. Tell me what your piece of advice is for somebody that wants to get into this. Do you need to go to college? Do you need to go to work for somebody? What do you need to do?
Find some good varieties. I mean, if you don't have a good variety, no matter what you do, it's not going to do any good. So just find some good varieties that you want to plant. Start small and just build up.
Do you find that the recommended varieties, I know I'm talking to your professional side now, but when we do variety testing, we're always looking for the one that basically can put up with the most abuse.
That's right.
And do you feel like that's the lists that we have now? For example, I will tell anybody anywhere you can grow contender green beans, it's going to be fine.
Oh, yeah.
Straight A cucumbers, you're going to be fine. But when we get into like Cherokee Purple and we get into some other like heirloom tomatoes and things, somebody's got to test that stuff, and y'all do that.
Yeah, well, the heirlooms have not been bred as much for disease resistance, so they're going to be harder to grow. They crack and they look terrible. I mean, I used to work for this old lady, and I was throwing this cracked tomato out. She goes, "Stop. What's wrong with that?" That's the uglier they are, the better they are.
That's right.
Miss Ballard used to live here in Plantersville, and so that's when I first learned about heirloom, and they were really good. So. And you can basically double the price for them at the farmer's market for heirlooms. So.
Isn't that something? That's good to know. See, y'all, get those brandy wines. Come on with the Cherokee Purples. Well, I got to say,
well, let me get back to my
this is so much fun. I know we got to send Thomas back over to his work. Thomas Horgan of Organically Grown. I'm telling you, that's the greatest name, greatest T-shirt. Thank you for coming by. I'll be in touch with you. So much fun. We're going to make him go back to work now and stop having such a good time. By the way, he's got a great straw hat, y'all. This is straw hat territory.
Straw hat season.
It really is. It really is. And I'm sorry I didn't get any of his strawberries, but that's just how it goes. You've got to get to the market early, and you got to get your picks and get them going.
If you snooze, you lose in gardening, right?
Well, particularly
at
farmers markets, because the farmers are picking everything they've got, and they're bringing it to you, and it is fresh right now. This is not something that got pulled out of a refrigerated truck, and although we appreciate that, we certainly do appreciate that, I would much rather have my opportunity to go meet the grower and talk to the folks and get that right now that just got picked either yesterday or maybe this morning, even in some cases. The question is always, how do you get started? And I like his advice. I think that's really, really good advice Thomas gave us. Is go get the right varieties. Get some that grow. I'll tell you oftentimes that the one that your neighbor is growing is probably going to do well for you. And then you can go a little bit farther out and ask the folks maybe at the farmer's market or at the growers group or in the master gardeners or in the garden club, what are you growing? Which one of those radishes does better than all the rest? For me, it's always going to be basically sparklers and red globes because they take 25 days and I can eat them out of the yard, you know what I mean? But there are other reasons. Sometimes we grow those icicles because we want to make pickles. I mean, there are just so many different things that we can grow if you get the variety that is intended for what you want it to do. And all of that makes a great deal of sense to me. I don't know about you, Lance, but I got to say that this fresh food season makes everybody want to be a little bit closer to vegetarian, not entirely. I'm not going to say, you know me, I'm never going to be an entire vegetarian, but you can see more and more vegetable plates coming out of here today.
Oh, man, I would give me 6 veggies. I would be, instead of the 3 or the meat and 3, just going to load me up with 6 veggies.
Let's roll them out.
Delicious. And do a whole plate of carrots, buttered carrots, raw carrots. Any way you could cook any of those carrots, I'll eat all of them.
I'm not talking out of school. We have said many times that my children are not the largest carrot fans. I didn't force them to eat carrots, but they've just never liked them. And even walking in up here, it was like, did you see those carrots?
I think I was brainwashed by Bugs Bunny as a kid because it looked delicious. Yeah, it looked delicious. So I was like, well, if he likes it, then I've got to enjoy these.
That's fun.
Hey, now, the Garden Mama, obviously, that is what Claire gave you the name. So I like, you said Garden Baby?
She's Garden Baby.
That's right. I love that. I mean, we've got to get a shirt made with Garden Mama and Garden Baby.
Long before the Jackson Brown song, I have called everybody baby. for all my life. And I think that's really part of it, because they're my babies, but I call everybody babies. So it's a nickname. It's not a diminution, and it's not like a phony name. It's just a true name of love.
Well, and she obviously has a lot of the Garden Mama skills. She's also a very good marketer. We know that. But has she picked up on? Has Claire picked up on all of the gardening expertise that you have bestowed upon her over the years?
Yes. She will be. When she takes off tomorrow to head back to her house, she will be taking a car full of plants.
Well, you ought to
Some
pop
people
her down.
Go, get the bread that Mama bakes. You don't want any of the bread that I bake. You might want to get a pie. You don't want my pie. You want my plants.
Well, you ought to introduce the public to Miss Claire. If you got 4 minutes before we go to a break, if she's
really very busy.
Oh,
she has people around her. They're talking about, we have friendship bracelets and we have magnets and we have no more seeds. They're all gone.
Oh, good.
You can hear, she hears us talking about it.
I was hoping she could hear. She was in earshot. They're bragging on her. She does an amazing job, though. She really does. Thank you, Claire, for all that you do.
See, she's going to blush now, so that's nice.
Good.
One of the things that we always hope is that there will be some connection from generation unto generation. And I am happy to say that in my house, we're about the 5th generation of plant people. And some of us like carrots and some of us don't, but all of us like plants and all of us enjoy flowers particularly. I didn't even have a chance to talk about that yet. There's some beautiful cut flowers here. I like how the displays are. Some are in buckets and you can pick your stems, and some are already arranged in a jar, and you just buy the whole thing and take it home, put it on the table, and let everybody, tell you how great you are, because they're just beautiful. But it's one of those things that if you want to grow, if you want to participate, if you want to get into this, there is room at farmers markets around our state and frankly every place else too, because people want to shop local, they want to buy local, and they want to shake hands with the person that grew their food if they possibly can. It's just such a really fun thing to do, and it also gives you that sense of confidence that they're going to be there. This is not going to be we laugh all the time. If you buy a pair of shoes and you like them, you better hurry up and go back and buy the second pair, because they won't be there the next time. But lucky for us, farmers tend to do the same thing from year to year, whether it's flowers or squash. They will be there again, and that's really what's fun. I noticed that they have sliced the cake over here. People walking around with the Happy First Market, beautiful, beautiful sheet cake that's going on. There's just a whole lot of activity, a whole lot of food, and really a whole lot of good vibes going on here in Tupelo at the farmers market at the depot in downtown Tupelo.
Now Nellie, how late are they going today with the farmers market?
I'm going to say 12 o'clock.
12 o'clock, okay.
I'll have to ask. It's usually, some people, they'll stay as long as they possibly can sell stuff, but sometimes when it all gets sold out, it finishes up a little early. Yeah. But I'll ask Lucia when she comes in to talk to us and see how late the market goes on, because I don't actually know. Sometimes it's optimistic, Sometimes it's by 11 o'clock you're already pretty much out of everything. But there's a lot of good stock here, so we'll be there a little bit longer, I think. We'll find out.
Well, another thing I wanted to mention in all the video that's gone by, we have some very well-behaved pets that have come through. Beautiful dogs. One looked like a riding pony. It was so big, the black one that came through. And the kids are extremely well behaved. Yeah, so I was
it's a good group.
It's a great crowd.
It's a really good group.
And anytime you get dogs around dogs.
Asking you shall receive. Asking you shall receive. There she is.
Garden baby, what's up?
This is my daughter, Laura Claire.
Hello.
Thank you for doing all this for us.
Sure.
Lance said that they need to at least see you and see your smile and how good you are at all of this, because she's the marketer in the family. She has all this time. She not only named Garden Mama, but she's also the one who says, you need new T-shirts, Mama. You need new tote bags. You need this. You need that. And we just try and go get them.
Well, Claire, tell us how you get, the creative element. Obviously you have a mother who knows how to grow, very artistic, very proper with her English. Now, so obviously all that comes together to create this amazing woman, Claire, and Garden Baby. So Tell me how you come up with some of the creative ideas that I've seen. We've got about 50 seconds before we go to a break here, but I love your design mindset.
I appreciate that. I think I like to think about what I would want to purchase and then put Mom's name on it. So
there you go.
I think things are a little bit different, very bright in color. I think that things that can channel the garden that she's talking about are a good connector for her viewers. We've sold some this morning because of it. And I do think that the creative juices come from being allowed the freedom to make merch for Mama that she'll love, honestly, if it's terrible. So
yeah, well, that's the way you nail it there.
There are very few rejects in this particular situation.
We got about 10 seconds before we cut off.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. We were trying to hear and we couldn't hear. It just got real noisy there for a moment.
Y'all got a party going on. That's what happened.
Lucia Randall is my guest now, Lance. She's the executive director of Main Street Downtown Tupelo. How cool is that? You must be having the best time today because everything is just beautiful.
I am having the time of my life. What an amazing turnout. We are just thrilled.
All that hard work.
You know? From conception to completion of this beautiful facility in downtown Tupelo. What a gift for our downtown, for our community.
I'm so glad that y'all did. I mean, the other market was nice, but this is the top of the line. And y'all are going to be here for years and years to come because it's such a nice big space.
A lot of work went into it, a lot of thought in how to design it, that served not only a wonderful place for our farmers market, but also for other events, live entertainment.
I can see that this is going to be busy all week. You know, it won't just be a Saturday thing.
That's right.
I love your bandstand.
Yes.
I like your lit cathedral here. It's just there's so many facets that when you walk around you recognize not only how beautiful it is but how practical and how much you can do here.
Absolutely.
Really cool. Talk to me a little bit about the market, how many vendors and what all y'all, I know y'all have like more than 30 in here.
We do. We have 36 vendors. We have every slot drive-up stall is full, and because we have this wonderful facility that is so broad, so wide, we were able to facilitate some tables down the middle.
Love that. It's so welcoming.
Right.
When you walk up, it's just everywhere. It's
right.
Really nice.
Those vendors that didn't have to have a truck bed to work out of, produce like bakers and things like that lended itself well to utilizing the tables in the middle.
Makes so much sense. I'm gonna. She doesn't know I'm gonna say this, but I can see Christmas market right here too.
Absolutely. Oh, it would just be magical.
Tons of fun. Y'all are going to be able to do everything in this space. Tell me a little bit, Lucia, about you. Fulton?
I'm a Fulton native. I am.
Great place.
Great place. Yeah.
And what made you decide you wanted to do this particular task?
Well, life just kind of tumbles along, and one thing leads to it. It does. It tumbles along, and what you started out doing early in your life, little by little, it kind of morphs into other things.
That.
And I am an artist by trade. Actually, I majored in art. I went to Itawamba Community College. I then went to Louisiana State University. Go Tigers!
Yes, ma'am.
And I started in graphic design, and graphic design turned into marketing. Marketing turned into communications. I was communications director for the city of Tupelo before I took this position as the Main Street director.
I love to hear you say that.
So it just kind of morphed into this.
It really does. One thing leads to the next, And when you're on that path, you know the next thing when it comes up. You know what it is. You know what it is to do.
Well, you just have to have the ability, and as we get older, we get a little bit more wisdom, and you need to have the opportunity. You need to be able to recognize when those opportunities are things that you need to take advantage of.
You're so right. When I first started writing, I think I became a writer in the first place and a radio person because I didn't think anybody would ever see me and I wouldn't have to talk to them. I could just write and talk, in my own world. Well, that's ridiculous. I obviously have to promote anything that I have written, just like you would have to promote your art.
Right.
And then eventually you learn how to do that and what works a little bit. And it all does feed one thing into the next. Tell me, what medium do you use? What do you like to do?
Lots of mediums. I paint. I also love collage work. I love found objects. I love taking all these, and I'm very old school. I like scissors and glue, and so I'm very old school with my collages, and I mix found objects in with that, and so I love all kinds of art. Actually, I went to LSU to study ceramics. Though there was a great professor there that I wanted to I wanted to study under, and then I changed when I was at LSU from ceramics. I was so scared I couldn't make a living in that, and I changed to graphic design because I knew there'd be a little more opportunity.
Well, that's true. Graphic design can carry you through a whole lot of things.
It can.
Because it is so necessary, and at the same time, because it's creative and artistic, it gives you a chance to express yourself within that particular medium. I just think that's delightful. That is so smart. But Lucia Randall, this is just a great place, a wonderful event, and I know that you just must, your checklist must be 25 items long every hour by the time you get here.
It is. We've worked very hard, and this is not the only project we have going on, so we stay very busy.
I know this
we just finished Bud and Burgers, an event downtown, a kind of a street party. We just finished with Wine Downtown, another wonderful event, and the most important thing, one of the largest tourism events in the state is coming up. Starting June the 4th, and that's Tupelo Elvis Festival.
What in the world could that be?
And downtown Tupelo Main Street does that event, so we are extremely busy. But before we leave, please, thank you so much for being here with us today. We were just thrilled to have you, and I'm glad it worked with your schedule.
Thank you very, very much.
And thank you for having me today.
Thank you for coming and joining me on the show, and thanks everybody for the T-shirt. I have to say thanks so much to Kim. Thanks so much to Gary and Lance and to Houston for making this whole thing, this radio part happen. But thanks so much to you and the mayor and to our vendors for being here and creating such a marvelous, wonderful event for me.
Absolutely.
I knew I'd have a good time, but I had no idea I'd get to be in the middle of everything.
It's a lot of fun. Well, thanks again to SuperTalk. Great partners with us in Tupelo. And it's just a fantastic day, and so glad you could be a part of it.
I know every Saturday is just going to be bigger and bigger.
We hope so.
Once everybody hears about it, they're going to know that they might have missed something. I think that whole thing of fear of missing out is real important. If we weren't there the first time, we'll be there the second time.
Right.
We'll be there next Saturday if we're not here today. So
right, and the other thing is that as the season goes on, we'll have more offerings.
Yes,
this is very early.
This is very much the beginning. Well, and then there's the Elvis Festival.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, my goodness.
TCB, baby.
I was born on the day that he passed away, and my buddy Zach, we were born on the exact same day, same year, and we both were born on the day Elvis passed. So
August 16th, 1977.
Well, we were born in 74, but he passed in 77, so that's all. And Madonna was born that day, ironically.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm famous.
This whole party is for them.
Well, guys, I hope you're having fun over there, too. We're having a big time here.
Thank you, Lance. I'm thinking we're about
out of juice. We got 49 seconds to the end of the show.
Well, I'm just going to say thank you very much. I'm Garden Mama, and it's been my tremendous pleasure to be here with all these delightful folks today in Tupelo. Y'all come to the farmers market. Come on to Tupelo anyway. It's a good time. Thank you very much, and we will be back next week.
SuperTalk Mississippi.